Hi everyone, this is Marie, and today we're going to continue making our swirl soap. As you see, I've already started, but I made this yesterday. Very basic recipe with just a bit of pink clay in it to give it a little bit of color. So it's all set, but it's still fairly pliable. And I'm using my cheese slicer to cut some very thin strips. Well, thin. These are a little bit, just a bit under 1/4 of an inch, I would say. If my cheese slicer were adjustable, I'd make them maybe a little thinner, but that's what I've got to work with. So basically just take my cheese slicer and down we go. Wiggle the end a little bit, and we've got our slices. And unfortunately, every time I do this, it makes me think of cheese, and then it makes me hungry. So, after I've done all my slices, what I do is I roll them, and I'm going to make them lengthwise because the mold that I'm going to put them in is, this is about 4.5 inches or so, and that's the height of my mold. So, I'm going to very gently roll them. You've got to be gentle because it's a little bit on the thicker side, and because of that it can crack, which you don't want. And I make just a very, very gentle curl. If it were thinner, I could probably make a tighter curl, but this will give us a nice pattern nonetheless. Some people use pencils or dowels to wrap the soap around, but I find my fingers work just fine. Like I said, you got to be careful not to crack it. It's cracking a little bit here. It's not going to matter. You're not going to really see it, but you don't want it to break. So get a little curl. We'll make another one here. And you just got to be patient and work it. It's almost like wax, actually. When you make this basic recipe, what I used is 40% olive oil, 30% coconut oil, and 30% palm oil. I used the regular amount of water. I didn't use any water discount. And so it's set up quite quickly because of the palm oil, but it's still a little pliable so that I can play with it. So you may have your own recipe that you prefer to use, but I find this kind of suits my own purpose. And because this is a handmade soap, it doesn't have to be perfectly symmetrical. Sometimes if it's not symmetrical, it makes it a little bit more unique. So I've got my curls, so we'll imagine that I've done all of them. And then I take my mold and I place them, standing up like that, pack them on together. Depending on how many you make, they may be closer together, farther apart, depends on the look that you want to. And so I'm going to stack them all like this, or I might put them a little bit farther apart. I'm not sure, it'll depend on how many curls I've got at the end. And then our next step will be to make another batter and fill this mold with the other batter. We'll make it fairly runny so that it doesn't set up too quickly, so that it can flow quite easily. And I think I'm going to make it probably green, very soft green. I've got some green clay that I can use. And we'll fill it up almost to the top. And then when we're ready to cut it, this will be the face of our soap. So I'm going to cut layers like this. This is 4.5 inch high, so I'm going to have 4 slices, and then I'll just cut some bars, maybe maybe in 4 or something like that, and that'll be the face of the soap. So we'll see you in a bit. I'm going to finish my whirls. I can't talk anymore. Sorry about that. I'm going to finish my rolls, and I'll meet you again when I make the batter for the final soap. Thanks.